Gold Beach, Oregon on the Pacific, a name and a place to stir the bones of Yankee history. Here, an untamed wilderness river is peaceful as it flows to sea, past shores that once echoed to the cries of gold-mad miners. Salmon are in the river this morning, home to their native rogue to birth and die, and the fishermen have been up since dawn to give them battle. Fish on, clear line. All ashore that's going ashore is the way of salmon fishing as the fisherman seeks firm footing and plenty of elbow room. After 3 years at sea, the Chinook is a bull-muscled brute and mad clean through when he tastes the seal. End of the long voyage home for 20 pounds of sterling silver. But the rogue holds greater thrills than fishing for the man who loves adventure. And Glenn Wooldridge is the man. Here, with river-running partner Bob Pritchett, he embarks on one of the most dangerous voyages ever attempted. The 120-mile-long, twisting, tortuous passage up the raging falls and rapids of the Rogue Canyon. The boat, Glenn built it himself. She's right for the job ahead. Broad in the beam for an even keel in white water. High in the bow to take the giant drop-offs in stride and stay on top. And goes like a scared rabbit when Glenn pours it on. The Rogue River above Gold Beach is a friendly cuss, big, broad, easygoing, almost sociable. And it's a friendly kind of fishing going on too, with boats snugged up side by side and every neighbor a fishing partner. A day to make a man's heart sing. The rush of the warm spring air, the sunlight sparkling on the water, the easy good fellowship in the waves of the fishermen. A good beginning. 10, 15, 20 miles up the river, still civilization's mark is on the shore. A Monday morning wash flaps in the breeze as man dwells casually in the very shadow of the Siskiyous, on the front doorstep of the wilderness beyond. Hunting grizzlies does it to some fellas. Climbing a higher mountain does it to others. With Glenn, it's white water. The sight and sound of it makes him tremble like an old fire horse at the ring of a bell. This is the Devil's Stairs, gateway to the wilderness and number one in the Rogue's gallery of rapids. Up and over. Not one of the bad ones, but enough of a run to test their boat and motor. Blossom Bar is a quarter-mile stretch of white violence capable of ending the trip before it's well begun. The boys take time out to look the situation over. From any angle, Blossom looks like trouble. Up here, above the big drop-off, you can see what's causing all the commotion. Somewhere in the unremembered past, a shattered mountain fell away and choked the river with a jagged sawtooth dam, Blossom Bar. They see one chance of making it, by easing a passage up the center, past an island rock big enough to snap a boat in two should the motor fail at a crucial moment. If things go wrong out there, the man on the oars faces tough odds. It's Bob's choice. He says he's game to try it. This is the game no other man has ever dared to play with the Rogue, and it's for keeps. In a plywood shell, against the frenzy of the river as Blossom calls the plays with sound and fury and no choice now but to ride it out. searching barrier of river to climb. And they're through, safely, and Blossom is behind them. Now it is a good beginning, officially. Beyond Blossom Bar lies a vast animal kingdom, a last sanctuary in a civilized world of the cougar, the bear, and the muskrat. A fierce-eyed buzzard is a committee of one to receive man, the intruder. Rates a worried glance from Glenn, who has a sailor's regard for evil omens. With dangerous water ahead, rapids to jar your bones and rattle your teeth in Kelsey Canyon. Then there's the falls. First it's a rumbling in the distance. Then suddenly it's a nightmare staring you straight in the face. But buzzard or no, the big red job keeps right on rolling toward the end of the first day's run. Next morning, the beating of wings in the air over Black Bar announces the arrival of a friendlier bird than the buzzard of the day before. After a good night's sleep at the Wilderness Lodge of Hal and B. Witherwalks, the boys are up early to meet the Grants Pass air taxi, coming in with gasoline they need to finish the trip. It takes a skinful of nerve and the flight instinct of a hawk to pinpoint a landing through the tricky canyon currents and updrafts of Black Bar. But Fred Hale's a bush pilot in the old seat-of-the-pants tradition, and he flies in on a regular schedule to keep the lodge in supplies. Fred figured it was worth the trip just to watch the boys tackle Black Bar Falls, which is number one on the day's program. The ever-present life vests are the tip-off on the tough ones. When they go on, look for trouble. And Black Bar is a tough one. Glenn's trying it the hard way, right up through the middle. And the smashing force of the river sends them hurtling back through the seething maelstrom, and Pritchett, lightning quick with the oars, barely saves them from disaster. A hidden rock and a sheared propeller pin at the very crest of the falls, and the buzzard almost came home to roost. But no damage done, and they're back again, fast on the rebound, this time with a new approach. After the showdown with the river at Black Bar, there's no stopping the big red job. Washboard, where Glenn goes through alone and Bob walks around to keep the bow high enough to clear the big rollers. Nip and tuck all the way, but Thunderbolt power hurls the big boat straight as an arrow through the narrow, dangerous passage. And then comes Grave Creek Falls. An old Wooldridge acquaintance, Grave Creek Falls. A lot of water and a lot of years have gone down the river since he stood on this same rock on his first trip down the river and wondered if he could make it. This is the Rogue's Sunday punch. Last but not least of the great water and all that stands between them and victory over the river. No man has ever traveled up Grave Creek Falls before, and the reason why is pretty clear from up here. A spectacle to shake the nerve of lesser men, but an irresistible challenge to Wooldridge. It has to be Glenn alone again to keep the boat riding as high as possible. He maneuvers for position, scanning the water ahead, picking his spot, then gives it a gun, and he's on his way. And he's up and over. He gambled on finding an opening that a propeller could sneak through and won. And the mighty Rogue has met its master. End of the long voyage home. Hellgate Canyon, valley of giant mountains, where even the Rogue is quiet under their spell. Through the last outpost of wilderness, back to the world of man. Adventures end, where a memory is born and a dream is done. Good trip, good companions, Big Red, Bob, and the river.